As you can tell from the title, this is going to be very different from my usual videos. But I kind of just wanted to do a recap of the past 100 days. Well, my original goal was, during the month of August, I was going to write a song every single day. And I got that idea after I discovered the YouTuber Jonathan Mann. Now, Jonathan Mann, I've written 133 songs in 100 days. That sounds impressive at first, but Jonathan has written 4,696 songs, song a day, for the past 10 years, so it's got me beat for sure. But yeah, my original goal was to write, 31 songs in 31 days. So I was going to be happy if 80% of those were just mediocre, and 20% of those were actually good. You can be the judge of whether I deserve to be happy or not, but yeah, that was the goal, and I wanted to do this to help with my perfectionism. I have OCD. I think a lot of people who are trying to be creative struggle with perfectionism. Since I started playing guitar, I've written about 200 chord progressions. I've tried to actually record maybe 30 or 40 of them, and only 4 of them have actually, up until the Song a Day challenge, only about 4 of them had ever seen the light of day. Because I was so worried about getting it right the first time, making sure I got the perfect take, making sure there weren't any mistakes, making sure I could edit anything that went wrong. It was paralyzing, and I was just sick of it. I wanted to get some music out, and if it got 2 views, great. If it got more than 2 views, great. But my goal was just to put music out, because the problem was I'd spend way too much time learning about music rather than making music. So I watched a bunch of YouTube. that's my replacement for actually doing stuff. I watched a bunch of YouTube to learn music theory, to learn how to play guitar. The big ones were Rick Beato, Ben Levin, Adam Neely, Mary Spender, Signals Music Studio. But yeah, by watching YouTube instead of actually making music, I could hold on to my perfectionism and still feel like I was being productive because I was learning things. I was getting intellectual knowledge, I wasn't getting experiential knowledge. If you're anything like me, you've always wanted to be creative. You've always wanted to make something that you enjoy and share it with other people. You've always wanted to make something original. And if you're still like me, you've been terrorized by a need for perfection that paralyzes you into inaction. You want so badly to make the perfect thing that you make nothing. But you also try to learn as much as you can about whatever you want to create so that you feel like you're still being productive. You've gone down YouTube rabbit holes on advanced music theory, but you haven't sat and practiced or even bothered to learn the major scale up and down the neck. And with all that faux productive learning from people who actually practice, you've learned a whole litany of concepts to help you be more creative. First, limitations foster creativity. Second, perfect is the enemy of the good. Third, make your favorite music. And fourth, blank pages are the only kind that can't be edited. They sound like cliches when you're somebody who hasn't really gotten any experience creating anything. But here's some of the things I've learned over the past 100 days. Mainly, I've learned that the people that actually practice are right and smarter than me, and they know what they're talking about. So, limitations foster creativity. Whether it's using a 20-year-old Casio keyboard, writing a song in 30 minutes, making an album in a day, or using dice to write a chord progression, limitations can help spark ideas. Ideas are like water. Without boundaries, it spreads out and evaporates, but it forms a pool with boundaries. So limitations give you a definite place to start and a definite place to stop. They can also give you a method to actually write something instead of just worrying about making the right thing. You actually write the thing. Number 2. Prior to August, I'd probably written 200 melodies or chord progressions and recorded 40 song ideas, but they've always stayed just that, ideas. Only 4 of them ever saw the light of day, and that only temporarily. So why the sudden shift from 4 songs in 4 years to 133 songs in 100 days. Well, I made a commitment to write and record and post a song every day. Not to record an old song idea, because that would get me stuck back in the perfectionist loop. But to write one today, one tomorrow, and one the next day, and put them out, and not worry about it. In the beginning, I'd spend up to a few hours in my tendency towards perfectionism, but I know, to my dismay, that I'll never write a perfect song. I tried running away from that truth by dumping hours into songs, but I'd always leave frustrated and dissatisfied. But sometimes I'd sit down and I'd record. I'd limit myself to 10 takes, and then I'd say, it's good enough, and I'd put it out there. And that felt so much better. Number 3, make your favorite music. Over the past 100 days, I've taken inspiration from everything from Billie Holiday to Metallica, from Chopin to Chevelle, from Julian Lage to Led Zeppelin to Polyphia to Hozier, and I try to make it my own. There was some days where I would need to sit down and tune to drop C and just crank out a metal riff because I was angry. Some days I would need to put a capo on my acoustic, just play slow, and I felt much better after. Music is very therapeutic for me. So it was really, really nice on days when I was stressed because of school or because of my family or whatever, to sit down and force myself to just do one thing that I enjoy every single day. It was very, very beneficial, and it's something I'm going to keep doing. Whether I get 100 views or 1 view, I enjoy seeing that people enjoy it as much as I do, but I would keep doing it even if they didn't. And if you're somebody who struggles with your mental health, like I do, I would highly, highly recommend forcing yourself to take the time to do the same. Do something you enjoy. Create something, and if possible, share it with people. You'd be surprised how many people actually love the things you create as much as you do. And 4th, blank pages are the only kind that can't be edited. So related to this, I would be interested to see if anybody's still watching, drop down in the comments which songs were your favorite, because, well, 1, I'm just curious, but 2, they were almost all recorded on an iPhone. So, no promises, but I might record them in a more fully produced way. Alright, poetry. If you're anything like me, you tend to stare at a blank page for a while before you're finally just like, okay, let me just look around the room and write about whatever I see. It's at least something. Or just looking outside and being like, babbling about the leaves for a bit, and then you can go back and edit it. You can't edit a blank page, so it's always better to just throw something out there, which was the lesson I learned over the past 100 days. Like I said, I was expecting 80% of them to just be meh, 20% of them to actually be genuinely good, and you can be the judge of that. But I don't know, I've enjoyed myself. There's only one day, as far as I know, when I was out of town, that I posted a song I hadn't written that day, so I guess I technically failed, but that's not the point. The point is to beat my perfectionism one day at a time. One of the other lessons I learned was that Chopin was a kid once, Bach was a kid once, Van Gogh tried to oil paint for the first time, and it probably looked pretty bad. Bach wrote his first choral piece, and it was definitely not as good as his last one. If you want to be great, or if you even want to start at all, you have to have enough humility to be bad. Because what is humility? St. Teresa of Avila says humility is telling the truth. So it's not an airbrushed version, it's not a cropped version, it's not an edited version, it's what you actually sound like, it's what you actually look like, it's what you actually are capable of. And you put that out there, and it's scarier, but it's also freeing. The truth sets you free. Most of the songs took between 5 minutes and an hour to do, especially the improvised stuff. In my opinion, that's some of the best songs I made were improvised. G.K. Chesterton said that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing badly. It sounds like really bad advice, but what he means is you have to have the humility to begin. Not that I'm humble, but it's good practice. And I'd encourage anybody who's like me to try it out. Post something you've written on your Snapchat story every day for a week. Post a painting that you've done on your Instagram story every day for a week. Your life is today. Repeat it. If you don't want to look back on your life and see that you could have done so many creative things but you never got around to it, just start today. I've definitely gotten a lot better at guitar over the past 100 days. Improvising used to just be going up and down the pentatonic scale. It doing a 1-4-5. I've gotten a lot better. It's almost like practice makes better, huh? But I just wanted to thank everybody who I asked at the end of August, do I keep doing this? Just wanted to thank you for encouraging me to keep going.
Slow as anything you've ever seen. How come you'd be scared of me?
He's so cute. There he goes.